I call to order the Riverview Board of Education regular meeting for July 25th, 2023. I want to thank Vice President Deminsky for filling in for Secretary Walker. And Vice President Deminsky, could you have roll call, please?
President Bohr?
Here.
Vice President Deminsky? Here. Secretary Walker is excused. Treasurer Davis?
Here.
Trustee O'Brien?
Here.
Trustee Meeks?
Here.
Trustee Toth?
Here.
We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll go to guest and visitor comments, the 2-minute session. The purpose of the public participation portion of the meeting is to provide an opportunity for the citizens to share their thoughts with the board. Personal concerns are best handled through proper channels. Questions requiring investigation will be referred to the superintendent for consideration. Are there any guests and visitors for the 2-minute session?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ed Moss. Good to see all of you again. Since we're coming up on Election Day pretty quickly, and this is the last school board election, or this last school board meeting before the election, I thought I'd encourage everybody who hasn't already voted to come out and vote. We have 10 council members up for the 3 seats. We have 3 mayoral candidates, and we have a huge marijuana dispensary proposal. So I thought I'd remind everybody of that who hasn't already voted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Next, we'll move on to item A45, acceptance of agenda. Do I have a motion?
President Bohr?
Vice President Deminsky?
Be it resolved, the Riverview Board of Education accepts the agenda for July 25th, 2023 regular meeting.
Motion by Vice President Deminsky. Do we have support?
Support.
Supported by Treasurer Davis. Any discussion? Hearing none. Vice President Deminsky, roll call, please.
Trustee Toth?
Yes.
President Bohr?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Vice President Deminsky? Yes. Trustee Meeks?
Yes.
Treasurer Davis?
Yes.
Next, we'll go to consent grouping item A46 for accepting the minutes of the June 26, 2023 study session, accepting the minutes of the June 27th, 2023 regular meeting, approve the check registers, approve purchase card expense reports, approve certified personnel contracts. I will make the motion here. Be it resolved, the Riverview Board of Education accepts the minutes of the June 26, 2023 study session, the minutes of the June 27, 2023 regular meeting, approve the check registers and purchase card expense reports, and approves the certified personnel contracts as all contained in the consent grouping. Do I have support?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Meeks. Any discussion? Vice President Deminsky, roll call, please.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Trustee Meeks?
Yes.
Treasurer Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Toth?
Yes.
Vice President Deminsky? Yes. President Bohr?
Yes. Next, we'll go on to board updates. Superintendent Hatzel, administrative comments, legislative reports.
Just a couple of quick ones. We did get the official signing of the budget last week from the governor. So it's a good investment in education in the state of Michigan, so we're happy about that. I do want to say, I know we're starting conditioning for our fall athletes, and meeting with my own kid's pediatrician, fairly inexpensive test for cardiovascular health. She mentioned that it would be a good public service for kids, especially in this heat, to get checked, and families can do that. If you need additional resources, you can contact the board office. And coincidentally, just today, if in the news was LeBron James' son had a cardiac arrest, so it's happening to younger kids seemingly more frequently. So again, it's inexpensive, and obviously, if you can save a life, it'd be imperative. So I encourage you to do that. We do have a bunch of new hires coming in, and we're going to invite them all to the next meeting. So if you're out there listening and want to meet the new staff, we're going to welcome them next meeting. Thank you, President Bohr.
Thank you, Superintendent Hatzel. Next, we'll move on to new business. Item A47, approve the state aid note. Superintendent Hatzel, background, please.
The Director of Business and Finance requests that a note in anticipation of state school aid for an amount not to exceed $2,500,000 be established with the local bank for the 2023-2024 school year. The note will be used as necessary for school operating cash flow purposes. The attached resolution authorizing issues of a note in anticipation of state school aid was prepared by the law firm Miller Canfield. It is the recommendation of the Superintendent, the Director of Business and Finance, and Legal Counsel that Riverview Board of Education approve the attached resolution authorizing issuance of a note in anticipation of state school aid.
Thank you, Superintendent Hatzel. Do we have a motion?
President Bohr,
Trustee Toth?
be resolved, the Riverview Board of Education approve the attached resolution authorizing insurance of a note to anticipation of state school aid.
Motion by Trustee Toth. Do we have support?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Meeks. Any discussion? Hearing none. Vice President Dominski, roll call, please.
Trustee Toth?
Yes.
Treasurer Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Meeks?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Vice President Dominski, yes. President Bohr.
Yes. Next, we'll move on to item A48, approve sinking fund millage renewal proposal. Superintendent Hatzel, background, please.
A sinking fund is an account into which a school district can deposit voter-approved local millage revenue to pay cash for specific projects or repairs as they arise. This proposal will allow the school district to continue to levy the building and site sinking fund millage that expires with the 2024 tax levy. It's the recommendation of the superintendent and the director of business and finance that the Board of Education approve the attached resolution and language approving the sinking fund millage renewal proposal.
Thank you, Superintendent Hatzel. Do we have a motion?
President Bohr,
Vice President Dominski?
be it resolved that the Riverview Board of Education approve the attached sinking fund millage renewal proposal to be voted on at a special election on November 7th, 2023.
Motion by Vice President Dominski. Do we have support?
Support.
Supported by Treasurer Davis. Any discussion? Hearing none. Vice President Dominski, roll call, please.
Treasurer Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Toth?
Yes.
President Bohr?
Yes.
Trustee Meeks?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Vice President Dominski? Yes.
Next, we'll move on to guest and visitor comments for the 5-minute session. Are there any guests and visitors out there with comments for the 5-minute session? Seeing none, we'll move on to items for discussion presented by board members concerning which no action can be taken.
President Bohr,
Trustee Toth.
I'd like to give a shout out to our grounds crew and our maintenance people that are working out throughout the summer. I take my kids to the Champions Day Camp, and I see them doing something to one of the buildings every day as I'm dropping them off, so it's nice to see them out there even in some of the hot days.
Thank you, Trustee Toth. Any other items for discussion? I'd like to thank Finance Director Lonnie Draper for joining us tonight. He's always there to help us on our finance-related proposals, and he was there to address some questions tonight in our study session. I also want to echo Mr. Moss's thoughts on, we have an election coming up. I urge everybody to study the issues on all sides, study the candidates, and make the best selection moving forward for our city. Any other guest or visitor comments? Hearing none, we will go to future business. We'll have a study session on August 21st, 2023 at 6:30, and we'll have a regular meeting August 22nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Next, we'll need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Deminsky. Do we have support?
Support.
Supported by Trustee Meeks. Vice President Deminsky, roll call, please.
President Bohr?
Yes.
Vice President Dominski, yes. Treasurer Davis?
Yes.
Trustee Meeks?
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien?
Yes.
Trustee Toth?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned at 7:29.